Hey guys, welcome back. It's Limitless here. So today I'm streaming on PS4 again, and I wanted to show you guys officially like the 3 defense build that will change your life in Dungeon Defenders 2. And I know that you may think it's pretty crazy, but you're gonna find out just how crazy. We've got our Orc Blockade here. He's great. We're going to go ahead and use a boost aura. Now the boost aura is a little bit variable, you can change up a few things on it. And I'm going to use an LSA here. But depending on how much DU you want to use, you could use the flame aura or whatever, reflect beam, whatever you feel like. This is really only important that it's providing destructive pylon. So we'll get into that here. You can see LSA here. 0 out of 5 C8 right now. Not exactly something to write home about, but it's got nothing gilded on it. To be fair, I should be using something other than vampiric, but I was lazy. And then the boost aura here, we've got another 0 out of 5 C8. Gilded boosted grasp, because, you know, slow is good, and of course, we're looking for some nice damage, so I've got destruction on there, and I've got boosted blockade, which will boost both the damage and the health of our actual wall here. The Orc Blockade. As you can see right here, he's doing 2.1 million damage. We're going to switch over to this guy here, because this is the main build here, but when you're on him, you want to be using his healing fountain. And now the reason why that is because we're using various things here. You'll see power overwhelming. We're using all warlocks gear, including ability power tome. That has echoing command on it. That's really the only important part on that. We've got mana leech because, you know, it's good to be able to restore your resource easily. That should be gilded, but I didn't. Same with power of the night because it's so powerful. With this build, it easily does mad damage by itself. That's why we have that on. Now then, we've also got Ramster power, because obviously Ramsters are fantastic. We've got Withering Fountain, which makes this extremely important. On top of that, we also have speed on, because we have Fountain of Speed. We would have the other speed shard on, however, I'm subbing Radiant Critical Power. And we've got Abyssal Mandate, Bulwark, and Superconductor. That's all pretty important. Let's see, on the weapon, we also have Radiant Power, Pumpkinator, and Sundering Blow. Currently, Radiant Power and Radiant Critical Power do stack. So basically what that means is Healing Fountain makes you stronger, it heals you, and it weakens all enemies in its range. Now that is going to make it a lot easier for him to do his job. And you can see he's at stage 1 with 23 million health and over 2.5 million DPS. You bump him up, because you may want to. That's 6.7 million damage right there. I mean, that's basically like a stage 1 pretty decent Earth Shatter tower by himself. But here's where it really flourishes and why we have all this ability power on everything. So what you're going to want to do is, with this current build, you're going to want to switch and then hit him with that. You can re-drop your healing fountain somewhere. And you can see right now we're doing 85.9 million DPS. Now what we're using on this guy, actually, you know what, go ahead and see it. Because this is actually going to kick in on that DPS. Yeah, you can see that was about 90 million there. 89, see, 89.5. It's quite variable, but it is absolutely overpowered. Look at that, 106 million damage on that DPS tick. So what we're using on him today, we're using Gilded Fortification, Mass Destruction, Vampiric Empowerment that's gilded, and we're using a totem. It's actually very important that we're using a totem. We've got 10 Protective Downgrade, which is absolutely necessary. We've got 10 Defense Rate Servo, which again is absolutely necessary. But here's where the build can be changed up a little bit if you want to. you can actually change the Fortitude servo for a water servo, and you can switch out the Vampiric for the electric fingers if you want to proc that. That'll proc self-electrocute. So what we'll do, we'll switch over real quick, just throw that back down somewhere. Or apparently not. There we go. So we'll hit him up 85.9 million damage. And now we'll change this to electric fingers. And he's down to 81.4 million DPS. But now he's proccing his electrocute. Well, actually, just the storm damage. So there's various ways you can proc electrocute with that. You can combine it with something else. You could obviously put a water servo on him instead, and he'll do it by himself. And now, I get it. You guys are saying, you know, well, hey, you know, that's really a fantastic DPS, but, you know, why not? Excuse me. Why not use a medallion? I'm going to show you why not. So at this stage, he's got 50.7 million health and 85.9 million DPS. So with that, let's use this, which is a medallion that's 2 out of 5 instead of 1 out of 5 C8. So it's actually a higher tier now. You can see it's now doing the same amount of damage, 85.9 million, but he's lost almost 20 million health for absolutely no gain. That is why we don't do that, because he loses almost 20 million health. That is exactly why we don't do that. Now we'll go here and we'll show off powers right here, so you can see we've got ability power up. We've got our ancient lifesteal on. We actually do not have ancient fortification on. Now if I were to change that up, it could be even more powerful. So let's say that I change this up real quick, and we go all into the ability power. We'll use ancient destruction. Oh yeah, I know. The game's always trying to kick me out. Ancient defense crit damage, ancient defense crit chance, and now we'll use 4 out of 5 in the ancient fortification for that extra health buff. So now we'll go ahead and pick back here, and you can see that they gave him no more DPS, but about 3 million more health. I know, you guys, sometimes you just want to slot stuff in on its own. That's totally fine. Healing Fountain doesn't cost any DU, and you can just use the blockade by himself. But when you're using him normally, you want to make sure to always get 1 upgrade in. On his own, he can deal almost 2 mil. With this, by himself with no anything buffing him, he's still going to do, you know, like 36 million DPS. So whether you want to do that, or you want to go the way of actually adding this stuff in for the full 90 DU setup, that is totally fine. Make sure you switch to whoever has your radiant critical power and all that. That way he gets his buff. And then you can hit him again like that. Now let's see. I want to move that a little closer. Switch back. Oh yeah, that's right. I should show you. 36.1 at stage 2. Now normally I would upgrade him just for the massive DPS boost. And that kicks him back to 85.9 million with your direct command. But you guys need to keep in mind too that this relic is not maxed. None of my gear is 5 out of 5 C8. So with that in mind, you could potentially break more than 100 mil DPS with this build if you were to go all the way with it. Alright guys, well I hope that has been interesting enough for you. Actually, let's go ahead and switch it back so I can end with you guys seeing its DPS. But anyway, yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. 126 mil there just now, dang. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Let me know if you want to see anything like this in the future. I'll max it out someday so you guys can see it properly. And make sure to have yourselves a great day. Remember to like and subscribe, and God bless. See you next time.